Breaking news this morning out of Russia, where a military plane carrying dozens of Ukrainian prisoners of war crashed, killing everyone on board. It happened near Russia's border with Ukraine. Russia's official news agency says the plane was involved in a prisoner exchange. The cause of the crash is still not clear. Russia's defense ministry says 74 people died, 65 prisoners, 3 people escorting them, and a 6-person crew. And this comes as today marks 700 days since Russia launched its invasion into Ukraine. For more on this, let's bring in a retired Army Colonel, Gian Gentile. He is the Associate Director and Senior Historian at the Rand Arroyo Center, the Army's sole federally funded research and development center for studies and analysis. Thank you so much for joining us. So 700 days, we're coming up on the sort of the 3rd year anniversary, right? It's 2 years, finishing up 2 years. And when this first started, there were some that were very concerned that this would be a quick war with Ukraine, that Russia, this former sort of superpower, would make quick work of this war. And then we learned almost right away that Russia's hardware wasn't really up to speed, that its fighting capability wasn't what we thought it was, that the experienced fighters they really lacked. And so now we find ourselves with a war that has been grinding on for nearly 2 years. Why has it been like this?
That's a tough one.
That's a big one.
I mean,
right?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right, Anne-Marie. I mean, the initial month or two of the war, Russia just really performed terribly in the first couple of months of the war. Ukraine in 2022 had some significant successes, like in the Kharkiv offensive and pushing Russian forces to the east bank of the Dnieper River. We're at the point now where the war is clearly at a stalemate. Ukraine is pretty much on the tactical defensive across the line of contact, and Russia is on the tactical offensive. But I do not believe that Russia has anywhere near the capability to do anything beyond these limited, more pinprick-like attacks. They don't have the ability to create an operational breakthrough. And I do believe, just thinking ahead, that the Ukrainians, if the West, especially the U.S., is still willing to lead and provide support, there is still the possibility in the future that the Ukrainians might be able to produce that kind of operational breakthrough. But clearly, Anne-Marie, the war is at a stalemate at this point.
I remember one of the things that that kind of got to me early on is, you know, immediately the world leaned in to support Ukraine, but there became this odd pattern of Ukraine asking for military support, a lot of thinking about it, and then ultimately giving them what they're asking for, but 6-7 months too late, and also this incremental use of sanctions. And at one point, when I was delivering the news and talking about yet another round of sanctions, I thought to myself, what else is there left to sanction? Why aren't these sanctions working? Have the sanctions worked on Russia?
Sure. The tough thing about sanctions in war is it takes time. And the sanctions are having an effect for sure, but Russia has other means of getting around them. I mean, they're going to North Korea now, providing some pretty high-end, sophisticated short-range missiles. So sanctions are having an effect. But again, those effects take time in war. What does have an effect in war is success on the battlefield. And Anne-Marie, I mean, I agree. There has been this, and the crucial period for that lag was between January and probably summer of last year, when the U.S. and other NATO and other partner nations really started to step up the supply to Ukraine of armaments, tanks, training. But at the same time, during those 6 months, Russia took that opportunity to establish a pretty robust and stout set of defensive lines along the line of contact in Ukraine. So, I mean, I agree. It's been this lag. Hopefully, at least in my view, in the future, that we can understand what has happened in the past and start providing the Ukrainians the right kind of support to allow them the ability to succeed.
Well, as you know, for months now, Congress has been sort of grappling with this question of giving more aid to Ukraine. It's all wrapped up with aid for the border, funding for the government, and even aid for Israel. So it's a very complicated sort of mess. And so we find ourselves repeating that pattern, more of a delay when it comes to providing aid. What is your biggest concern as this particular question of more aid continues to drag on at this moment in time?
It's pretty basic. My big concern is that if the United States and Congress is not able to figure out how to provide the kind of support it needs with this current proposed aid package, a couple of things could happen. The war could continue as a stalemate, forcing Ukraine into negotiations that it doesn't want to do. Worst case is that the Ukraine could actually still lose this war, especially if the U.S. is not able to lead and provide the substantial support that it has been. So there's some really serious issues on the line here. And the number one issue, at least in my view, is that since the end of World War II, Europe, its strength, its economy, its security is in the vital interest of the United States. So we should be doing everything we can within reason to help Ukraine win this war against Russia.
Very good reminder. Gian Gentile, thank you so much.
Thank you.